Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the philosophy that shapes our lives and the principles behind the actions of high-value individuals. Today, we're exploring the Stoic approach of high-value men and why they often seem to ignore women. It's not about disinterest or disrespect, but a deeper adherence to values and priorities. Let's unfold the 5 reasons that underpin this behavior. If you want to better reflect your Stoic spirit, you can get your own wallpapers from the link in the description. Are you new at this channel? Subscribe and hit the bell. Leave a comment for different topics. Let's begin. 1. They don't beg for attention. High-value men stand out because they don't chase after the spotlight. Rooted in Stoicism, they've got a strong sense of self that doesn't need a thumbs up from the world to feel valuable. This confidence is quiet, it doesn't shout for attention or seek approval. They know who they are, and they're not about to let anyone's opinion shake that. These men focus on what's truly important, being true to themselves and living with integrity. They're not trying to impress anyone, which ironically makes them more impressive. Their calm assurance and inner focus might make them seem distant or hard to read at times, but it's really just them staying true to their course. What really sets them apart is how they value their own respect over being liked. Instead of wasting energy on trying to be noticed, they put their effort into actions and goals that matter to them. This isn't about being cold or unapproachable, it's about choosing where to invest their energy wisely. The paradox is that by not seeking attention, high-value men often attract it naturally. Their self-sufficiency and calm demeanor are intriguing. People are drawn to those who are content with themselves and don't need outside validation to feel complete. In a nutshell, high-value men are all about keeping it real with themselves. Their quiet confidence is a magnet. They prove that the best way to gain respect and attention is not by seeking it, but by being so authentically themselves that the world can't help but take notice. Point 2. They just don't care. Have you ever noticed how some people seem unbothered by what others think or say about them? High-value men excel at this, but it's not because they don't care about anything, it's more about choosing what and who to care about. Based on Stoicism, a philosophy that helps them sort through life's clutter, they prioritize their peace of mind. The secret? They don't let things they can't control weigh them down. Whether it's someone's opinion, a rude comment, or a stressful situation, if it's out of their hands, they simply let it go. This isn't about being heartless or dismissive, it's about keeping their peace and not getting caught up in unnecessary drama. By focusing on what truly matters to them, like their goals, values, and close relationships, they manage to stay calm in a storm. They do care deeply about these things. What they avoid is getting tangled in the endless web of everyone else's business and opinions. It's about having a laser focus on their path and what builds them up, not what tears them down. This selective caring doesn't make them distant, it makes them wise. They invest their energy in what genuinely enriches their lives: personal growth, meaningful work, and real connections. Imagine the freedom of not being tied down by every passing wind of criticism or praise. High-value men live this freedom daily. They choose to care about what adds value to their lives and let go of the rest. It's a powerful way to live, focused on building a life that's true to their core values and not swayed by every little thing that happens around them. Point 3. Chasing purpose. Ever met someone who's so driven by a mission that everything else seems like background noise to them? That's how high-value men operate. They're not just wandering through life, they're on a quest. They've got goals, dreams, and a clear vision of who they want to be. This intense focus is all about chasing their purpose, something Stoicism teaches them to put above all else. For these men, it's not about chasing after every little pleasure or distraction that pops up. They know those things are fleeting, like chasing shadows. Instead, they're all in on the big stuff: personal growth, professional achievements, and making a real impact. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, and they're in it for the long haul. Now, you might think they seem distant or like they're ignoring the world around them. But here's the thing, it's not about neglecting relationships or being aloof. It's about being so aligned with their purpose that everything else takes a secondary role. They have to stay focused on their path, and sometimes that means making tough choices about where to spend their time and energy. This dedication to purpose does more than just propel them forward, it shapes them. Every decision, every action is a step towards fulfilling their vision. And while this journey might seem lonely or self-centered to some, it's really about forging a life of significance, one where they can look back and know they didn't just go through the motions, they lived with intention and made their mark. Point 4. Masters of mystery. Imagine someone who doesn't lay all their cards on the table right away. High-value men often have this aura of mystery, not because they love playing mind games, but because they value their privacy. They choose carefully what they share about themselves, not to keep people guessing, but to protect their inner world. This selective sharing is actually a Stoic practice. It's about restraint and modesty, not secrecy for the sake of intrigue. They believe in living their lives with dignity, which means not everything is up for public consumption. This approach is about drawing lines, deciding what's personal and what can be shared, showing respect for their own journey and those they interact with. But here's where it gets interesting. This mystery isn't about being distant, it's actually quite the opposite. When they do share, it's meaningful and genuine. It makes those moments of openness all the more valuable because they come from a place of thoughtfulness and trust. It's not about hiding, but choosing what to reveal and when. This might come off as distant to some. After all, we live in a world where oversharing is the norm. But for high-value men, it's about quality over quantity. Their mystery invites people to look beyond the surface, to seek depth. In a nutshell, high-value men aren't an open book, not because they want to keep you out, but because they're stewards of their own stories. They decide which chapters to share and which ones to keep close, making those insights into their lives all the more compelling. It's not just mystery for the sake of mystery, it's about maintaining a respectful boundary around the essence of who they are. Point 5. They set priorities based on logic. Picture someone who faces decisions with a calm, collected mindset, not swayed by the heat of the moment or the push and pull of what everyone else thinks is right. That's the hallmark of high-value men. They navigate life's crossroads with logic and a clear sense of what they're aiming for. It's not about being cold or robotic, it's about making choices that genuinely make sense for their lives and futures. This doesn't mean they ignore emotions or don't value relationships. Instead, they manage to not let their emotions take the driver's seat. By keeping a level head, they ensure that their actions and the people they choose to surround themselves with align with their deeper goals and values. It's about playing the long game, investing in what will truly enrich their lives. Such a logical approach might sometimes come across as too strict or unfeeling to others. But in reality, it's about being mindful and intentional. High-value men understand that every decision shapes their path, so they weigh their options based on what will bring them closer to their aspirations. This thoughtfulness extends to their interactions, where they seek depth and alignment rather than superficial connections. Their logic-driven priority setting means they often achieve what they set out to do. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the philosophy of high-value men. If you found value in our discussion, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights.